I wanted to make an additional video on this freeform topic because Alan Vargatu, my technical editor for this course, has pointed out a couple of things that I missed while demonstrating the freeform topic. So I want to go through a couple of these and we'll have a look. First of all, we've got two different shapes on the screen with a 3D curved surface in both of these. One is just kind of a random outline and the other one is a four-sided outline. Let's take a look at what this surface does if we try to freeform it. Okay, we get a nice mesh on here, but it's not really lined up to anything. It's lined up more than anything to the XYZ of the entire part because it doesn't have any other reference really to go from. If I deselect that face and select this one, it looks like it's still doing the same thing. But if I go over here to the natural setting for the coordinate system, then Solidworks realigns to the four-sided mesh. Now, it can't do that with the non-four-sided mesh. Okay, it's just going to line up however it aligns. Now, another point that Alan brought up was that if we place some curves on here, well, we only really need to place one curve to demonstrate this, and then we put some points on. When we go to edit this, I have been just editing one point at a time, and that's certainly something that you can do. But even after you've edited one point, you can go back in and edit multiple points. So I'm going to click on one and control click on the others. And this allows me to edit all three at one time and kind of keep that relationship that I've created between the 3 points. There are some other things I probably should mention while I'm here. The edges can have certain tangency requirements, just the same way that you do when you create a new surface. In this case, as I move these points, it's trying to just maintain contact. So it's going to pivot around this edge as I pull the points. But you can have it remain tangent, and what that means is tangent to the existing surface, or you could maintain curvature continuity to the existing surface. And these conditions are only going to be at the edge. So if I click on tangent, notice the green arrow goes away. Now if I select this point and move it, this is tangent to its original position. And if I were to turn off the tangent, go back to contact, you notice that this would pivot a little bit, and it gives us this arrow which allows us to manually change the direction of the mesh at the edge. I think that arrow is a very useful sort of thing. It helps you create curvature where you need it. And another thing that I should point out that Alan pointed out to me was that if you're trying to create a freeform feature on a shape like this, let's get out of this and start a new one. Sometimes the mesh can look a little bit funny, or it can be difficult to work with across multiple breaks. So what Alan suggests is that you create a four-sided surface originally to go over this multi-sided surface, and you might even just create it as a surface feature and use a replace face or cut with surface function to work with later on. Okay, let me demonstrate, since we're here in a video, let me demonstrate what I mean by that. I've got this larger surface, and what I'm going to do is just cut out a section of it that's four-sided. So on this plane, I'll sketch a four-sided shape that goes around, get rid of these constraints, and make this surface a little less rigid, or make the shape a little less rigid, I'll say. Okay, now we can go in here again with the freeform on this shape, and you notice that it's taking, the mesh is taking the shape of the four-sided surface, which we're using on this multi-sided surface. So we'll go in and add a curve. Again, this should probably be several curves, and we can add some points. And again, you can add as many points as you want. We can establish the edge conditions or control them manually with the arrows. We can also control an individual point or multiple points. And say OK to that. And then we can use the insert face replace, and the target face is the old face, so I'll select that one, and the replacement surface is this new face that we created, so this one, and we say OK. Now we can hide this surface, and we've got that shape that we created with the freeform feature. I hope this adds a little bit to the content in this chapter, and thank you very much to Alan for pointing out some additional topics that I needed to cover here.